Om Namo Narayana, Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om, Shiva Om, Om. Welcome to another Satsang with your host Chuck the Yogi from the Yogi Cave on this fine summer day. Let us continue with the Kaula Jnana Nirnaya. So, O Goddess, there are 11 chakras, or energetic vortices, with 1,000 petals in the body. So there's always these different notions about there's so many chakras here, this system and that system has so many chakras. So you're always going to have those discrepancies. 11 is very sacred to Lord Shiva, so that makes sense in that regards. They are found in the genitals, the navel, the heart, the throat, the mouth, the forehead, and the crown, the joint of the skull, the Brahmarandra, and the Mastaka Granthi that connects to the backbone. So we're talking about, it's like it forms a small triangle within the skull. So this is where the other vortices come from in this model. Molten gold enables one to shake cities. What is that all about? Well, we're talking about imagining a radiant light and perhaps in a golden hue or something of that nature, kind of fusing the different chakras. These are very ancient tantric practices. Anyway, by meditating on the chakras separately within the source, the bindu, or singularity, within the nada, and within the shakti, one achieves dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, which is the form, aims in life according to the dharma, which is duty, work, pleasure, and liberation. As well as the supernatural powers, see these are accomplishments, such as assuming microscopic perspective and other powers, which we've gotten into already at the Yoga Sutra. As a result of this practice, one can see the past and the future, and achieve the power to change one's form. There is no doubt that all these are achieved through the practices with full absorption. So the whole practice of achieving siddhis and all that was definitely very prevalent in the Kaula tradition as much as it was present in the classical yoga tradition, because Kaula tradition is a bit of a shoot of that if you think about it. One with devotion to the gurus and yoginis of the Kula Kaula Agamas undoubtedly becomes immortal and conquers death. So definitely yoking, so to speak, the Kaula tradition with the yogini consort tradition. O Goddess thus has been taught the cream of the occult knowledge of conquest over death. This should be carefully concealed in this world of mortals, which is full of inferior beings. This knowledge of all the siddhis is difficult to obtain and therefore should be carefully concealed. Should be imparted to a disciple only after testing for at least a year. So the idea of testing a disciple for a year is ancient tradition. You can find it in the West as well as you find it in the East, but it's definitely an ancient tradition. Chapter 6, sorry. Devi said, O Supreme of the Kula tradition, today my birth has become meaningful because I have known the knowledge of the Kaula Nirnaya. Now I want to know their topics. Please tell me the characteristics of the individual self. Also, who can be described as a jiva, a self? What is its real nature? What is its color? What is its extent? Where does it reside? Where is it dissolved? Please tell me these things. Bhairava said, O Virajchamunda, just another of many names of Devi. Listen to the characteristics of the jiva. It is supreme, not divisible, eternal, free from all, and stainless. So when you go all the way back to the Upanishads, it's Tat Tvam Asi, that art thou, or Atman equals Brahman. This is just another way of saying that. It describes as the multiple particle principle, the ultimate particle principle. It is the master Natha, Adinath, the primordial Nath, the archetypal Nath. It is the all-pervading, supreme Shiva. It is the Jiva that is beyond that, It is the mover, the animating principle or soul. It is the Hamsa, the swan. It is the essence of the energy, Hamsa. It is devoted to me. It is the physical energy. It is the intellect. It is the settled mind. It is the wind, which function as inspiration and expiration, Hamsa, and the body of all human beings. It is called the Jiva when it is enveloped in the body, but it is called Supreme Shiva as soon as he cast away the mortal body, Jiva Shiva. It is known from the holy tradition of masters or naths that it is located in the navel, the heart, the throat, the mouth, and the nostrils, the different energy vortices, the chakras as they call them, the wheels. This is the Kaulika knowledge transmitted from ear to ear via oral tradition. Merely upon hearing of this knowledge, one becomes liberated from whatever transgressions that have been committed. By practicing it for 6 months, one is instantly freed from bondage. Afflictions, mental agonies, old age, and ailments are destroyed. Having been freed from all diseases, one is accompanied by yogis. One also obtains the power of assuming microscopic form and the other mental powers. All by Davi, the understanding of the Jiva has been given to you. So, yeah, if you're really on with it, if you really get deep into it, and of course, back in the day, that was expected, then these things could be achieved in a matter of months. Of course, we live in a different age today with all these distractions, so it's a bit different. This teaching may be imparted to one who is devoted to the Kulagama, Guru, and the Devi. So the Shakta tradition, right? The Kaula tradition is really one of the roots of the Shakta, the current Shakta tradition in India. These sadhakas should be endowed with good qualities and determined to follow the teachings. The essence of the Kaulika knowledge, which is revealed through the yoginis, should not be imparted to one who is deluded, or who deludes others, or is deceitful, cruel, attached to the material world, or is in the guise of a monk. Guise in a monk meaning somebody that says he's a monk when he's not. Devi said, O Lord of gods, my practices have today become fulfilled. My body, which has been soiled by the clouds of ignorance, has become pure. Since the great knowledge, which is difficult to achieve even by the gods, has been revealed to me, and I wish to know the way of the eluding time, death. Bhairava said, O dear one, what you ask me now is very hard to understand. I will tell you without any doubt as to how death is destroyed. And of course, from times of the Agamas or legends, Shiva is a destroyer of death. After opening the jaws, one should consume the divine nectar up to the root of the palate with the tip of the tongue. These are occult practices in order to get the Amrita flowing. Also draw the breath at the root of the tongue and palate. One should consume the air slowly. It is very true that one can conquer death by this practice in a month. If practiced for 6 months, O Devi, one is freed from all serious diseases. By practicing it for a year, both old age and death are averted. If one practices this with heart and mind, one achieves the power of knowing the past and future, and also that of hearing sounds from a distance. One can also become immune even if one is bitten by the most venomous snakes. Both static and mobile poisons do not spread in the body, and one will not be mutilated if one is cut. So extraordinary claims, right? Of course. But these things were taken for granted these days. Situated between the two clefts of the palate within the mouth, this point is known as the nectar of immortality, which destroys wrinkles and gray hair. A wise person placing the tongue in the place of that palate becomes free from wrinkles and all types of diseases. One that is always engaged in the path of yoga thereby averts death. He should fix the tongue on the root of the palate. Why? Because it creates a closed circuit within the body, right? Because there's these energy vortices that go up and down, which is very explicit in Chinese alchemy, which I may get into, but it's implied in these traditions. So I'm not going to get too deep into the particulars of this, but it just shows how explicit it is in this sutra, these practices, and it shows how fundamental they were to Tantra back in the day, and they're still practiced. You can be sure of it. Anyway, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namah Shivaya, Shiva Om, Shiva Hum, Om. Jai Ma, Jai Mahakal. Till next time.